Hello, video request from Gypsy Hustled. He says, request, do a video discussing whether or not you believe there is a secret Illuminati group who pull all the strings of business plus politics and give us a false sense of freedom. Also, what you think of David Icke and his theory that the world leaders are really shape-shifting reptilians, and whether you think Alex Jones is a patriot or fear profiteer. Thanks. Cool, alright, I get these requests a lot, and I've done this exact fucking video a lot. All you have to do is type Illuminati. Here, if you ever want to, dude, I have like almost 3,000 videos. I've talked about everything. If you want to know if I've done a video, just click on this little button there. It's a search button. And type in a word like Illuminati, and you'll see all the videos that Plus, I have playlists. Go check out my playlists. I have it all organized in the playlist. I have like conspiracy theory prayers and all that kind of shit. But I'll do this video again, just because it's a live request, and I like to prove anyways that my attitude about things never changes. It's always the same. So I can put a little playlist together, like same video over and over again. You watch it, I'm saying the same damn thing each time. So anyways, do I believe there's a secret Illuminati group who pull all the strings of business and politics and give us a false sense of freedom? Short answer to that. Well, actually, my rule of thumb is is if anybody gives me a yes or no answer question, I always have to say yes, but in this, so I could be like, well, sure, but from the vantage point that conspiracy theorist people say, I would say no. I mean, yeah, sure. There's like the Bilderbergers. Alex Jones has been reporting that they meet in some hotel every year, and he tries to report on it, and then the security guys make him go away, and then the last time they had a meeting, it was even reported by mainstream news, like Yahoo News. I saw it reported, so it's becoming common knowledge. But like, it should be obvious. I mean, people who are in the same. There's so many business conglomerates, like Rupert Murdoch owns like most of the media of America, and a lot of the newspapers and channels that you actually lose money. Fox News Channel was started with like $350 million, and it's becoming more and more evident that it's just a propaganda channel for the big businesses. And so if one dude owns all these different businesses, like in 1938 when they legalized marijuana, Hearst owned all the newspapers, and he also owned all the paper mills that made the paper for the newspapers. That's why he wanted to legalize marijuana, because he didn't own the marijuana fields to make paper. So, when you got the same guy owning all these different companies, then they're gonna be able to collude with each other, and when you have all of these big, elite business owners, which has been going more in that direction lately, over the last 25 years, then they're gonna get together. There's this documentary called "Who Took Down Stockton?" Stockton, California, the largest city in America to file for bankruptcy. They uncovered that all these different banks were working with each other to talk the city into investing in building a new stadium and all this stuff, for all of the the interest rates, and they were just working with each other so they could they were like divvying it up, and then going out there and then you get these guys, type of thing, and colluding with each other. So it should be kind of be kind of intuitive that, well, yeah, they're going to get together and talk about how they're going to keep themselves in power and keep the monopoly and all that kind of stuff. Back in the robber barons, and before like Teddy Roosevelt, so I think one of those guys, JP Morgan, owned like 60% of the whole country, and the Rockefeller with the trains, and they could do all those monopoly things, undercut other budding train companies. And anyway, Roosevelt come and blew that apart, broke up the Standard Oil and all the different oil companies, and it's kind of so we're kind of right now going into an era where they're all getting so powerful that, yeah, they are kind of colluding with each other and buying off the politicians and all that kind of stuff. But it should be kind of like, you know, obvious, and understandable. But to what? But I mean, are all the problems with the world their fault? No, the fault is from the people who are so fucking lazy that they don't study and don't know that, they keep on thinking that there's this huge difference between a Democrat and Republican, and they have to vote between one of them, and they can't vote for somebody else, and they keep them in power, and they don't. And talking about this like it's some kind of, crazy, they're evil people, and it's kind of more like if you put candy in front of a baby, it's going to take it, and it's not the baby's responsibility to get it, to take the candy away. You need an overseeing government to put restrictions on these people and all that kind of stuff. So should they be allowed to have their secret meetings? Sure. I mean, it's all private. But as far as when it becomes to policy, that kind of stuff, I think, should be transparent. But it's getting more and more transparent. You can turn on the TV and see all of those congressmen and stuff have their meetings. And it's really boring and stuff, but we're going in the right direction with the transparency of everything. But yeah, when you have these like conspiracy theorists who are like, like they're evil, like David Icke and Alex Jones too, and like Michael Tessarion. Oh, these evil, the evil royal family, and they're all in charge. No, they're going too far, man. Like, look, when you let me say first that I like Alex Jones. I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good-hearted guy. Like if he were to be my neighbor, we'd be friends, But I think we don't need any more Alex Joneses. Alex Jones mainly is just an entertainer. And that's like whenever I watch his videos, that's mainly why I watch him. Because I just he's just so entertaining the way he freaks out. And he's always uptight and like fear-mongering and all that kind of stuff. And he's good at it. He's the best at it. And he's also a good researcher. He finds these interesting laws, ridiculous laws, and makes fun of them. He's really similar to the Young Turks. And he finds clips of them doing ridiculous stuff and shows it to everybody. And I think that part of it's awesome. But we don't need more people who are out there like, oh my God, they're so bad. We got to put it on top into them. They're going to try to kill everybody, because that just makes people not trust each other. And that's the last thing that we need, man. The first thing that we need, the most important thing that we need is just people who make us feel like, that people are good and our nature is good, and our nature is good. So, when you like going on YouTube and just looking at channels where the people just have fun all the time and they pretend that the world's, great, and they never talk about politics, those people do just as much good for the world as Alex Jones. We need people out there who are just make everybody feel like they trust. Because if everybody can trust each other, we can live at a much more efficiently and spend less money on security. And I lived in Chile for 5 years, and in Chile they spend so much money, looking over each other's shoulders to make sure people don't steal. Everybody's trying to steal from everybody. So when you go into the store, you have to stand in 3 different lines to buy something. You have to stand in the line to get the thing, and then the other line to pay for it, and then the other line to give the person the receipt to give it to you, so that they can't do some kind of scam. And it costs us a lot of money, and they have, and the poor people are stealing from their bosses a lot. Like my wife's brother owned a jewelry manufacturing business, and his workers were always stealing gold from him, and even though he wasn't rich. And then the rich people are always ripping off their workers, like my wife got a job and then he changed the rules after he started working for her and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's like a nightmare. And so it makes it so that nobody trusts each other, they're always trying to fire each other. They're always firing people, are always quitting. Nobody holds a job for more than a couple of weeks. It seems like nobody would hire somebody, even if you're good, for more than a couple of weeks. If you show up they're just so uptight, and it just makes it come to a standstill, and you can't. When nobody trusts each other, you just can't function, and then people don't communicate because they're all holding their cards close to their chest and being secretive. And if in countries like America where everybody trusts each other, You don't have to waste all of your time and money putting up a security system on your house because somebody might steal from you. If people don't steal from each other, you don't have to spend money on that stuff. You can spend money on things that produce and increase the economy. So, we don't need fearmongers. So, yeah, also, what do you think of David Icke and his theory that the world leaders are really shape-shifting reptilians? Well, what do I think about reptilians? I hope this thing doesn't run out of batteries. Yeah, there are reptilians out there. They are related to human beings. They were created by the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki created human beings from half Anunnaki, half Homo erectus 250,000 years ago. They also created reptilians, which was like half, dinosaur and half Anunnaki. So they're kind of like our cousins, the reptilians. They're really smart. They live a really long time, longer than us. Because they live a really long time, they're really smart. They can gather a lot of intelligence. They have less emotions. Reptiles have less emotions. So it's just a different system. They're not bad. Now, some of those reptilian souls reincarnate in humans who are less emotional, more kind of bloodthirsty, and in the past have tended to, and intelligent, tended to be, in royal families and that kind of stuff. So they do have a bloodline in terms of spiritual bloodline, but not so much actual physical bloodline. Physically, that whole blue-blooded thing has nothing to do with reptilians. It has to do with white. Your blood looks blue when you're white-skinned and a tanned in a country with lots of sun, like Spain. That's where it came from. But they're not and they don't shapeshift into reptilians. That's not true. And I don't even think David Icke talks about that anymore. I think he's dropped that. Now, yeah, there are human beings who walk the earth who can shapeshift, who can materialize bodies and talk to you, and they look like humans, and then they'll disappear. And but those are the people who can do that are good. Don't even worry about if somebody. I mean, that's pretty advanced stuff. The only person who can do that is a perfectly good person. Those were the first aliens to contact us back under Eisenhower, but we turned them down. So then we started working with the Greys. But I mean, I like David Icke too. I think David Icke's a good guy. That's the kind of guy who I would be friends with also. I mean, I identify with David Icke and Alex Jones a lot more than I do with like Bill O'Reilly or Sean Hannity or Greg Hutzvelt or those are like that crazy lady or Sarah Palin. I mean, those people are just morons. These guys are smart. David Icke and Alex Jones. But the problem is that there's always going to be people out there who just want to undercut you, trolls. And Alex Jones and David Icke inspire a lot of these stupid trolls who want to be like, oh yeah, everybody's bad, their fault, and then they'll kind of mimic them, and then without any education, and they'll just like say, yeah, Illuminati, fucking Illuminati, rich, and then that's kind of like black and white. So if you're the president of a bank, then all of a sudden you're part of the Illuminati and you're bad. And so yeah, we definitely don't need any more Alex Joneses or David Icke's, man. Let them do their thing, and let them educate everybody else, and inspire people to be proactive, and know what's going on, and but not go around and accuse everybody. Because I mean, I'm accused all the time. I'm accused of being like, I was accused this the other day. I did a video on politics, and I spent like the whole hour talking about how, both the Republican and Democratic Party are beholden to big business, and then somebody's trying to argue me, keep telling me that I don't know that, and they're lecturing me that to me as though I'm like one of these like idiots who just votes Democrat, and calling me names, and I'm like, you didn't watch the video, you just want to fight, you just want to, well, not even fight, you just want to kind of pretend that you're so smart and cut me down, and trolls, what trolls do, they're always trying to figure out ways to to make you seem stupid, and then they kind of make up stuff that you say and just twist it and turn it, and it's a weird mentality. But yeah, unfortunately, David Icke and Alex Jones of the world inspire a lot of trolls, and so it's not my style. And oh yeah, he's a fucking is Alex here. Let me go to the second theory that world is really and whether you think Alex Jones is a patriot or a fear profiteer, he's both a patriot and a fear profiteer. He's rich off of being a fear profiteer. That's what he's doing. When you found a good business plan that makes you money and you got a good niche, then stick to it. And he's smart and he's sticking to it, and he's going to ride that wave and make a lot of money out of it. I mean, it'd be nice if everybody could be more well-rounded. That's the most fascinating thing to me about humanity is, I see somebody who's really smart about one thing, like they only talk about spirituality or only talk about politics. And I'm thinking like, I would love it if they had another channel. I need to break up my channel into lots of different channels. I'll do that here in the next couple of months when I have the time. But it would be in where each channel is just kind of like a certain aspect of me, where I don't have everything in one channel. But that'd be awesome if everybody on YouTube who is really good at one thing, you could also see glimpses what they think about other things. It really help us figure out what makes humanity tick. Because a lot of these, because then you would know like where people are coming from, and then also people wouldn't be so deified. People like to deify like Alex Jones and think he's the smartest guy in the world and he knows everything about everything. But if you're going to be so smart about, say, like some certain thing, like all the conspiracies, then you're not going to have the time to study other things, and it'll just make people who are really good at one thing kind of feel, it'll make it more of a level playing field for everybody, and everybody will kind of feel there'll be less opportunity for there to be certain icons, and everybody can kind of get their moment in the sun. If people like Alex Jones or who worship Alex Jones are like brought down to earth, because Alex Jones, I mean, he mentioned once, he was asked about like the Mayan calendar or whatever, and he's like, I don't know what's so cool about the Mayan calendar if the people who made it couldn't even keep a civilization for more than a couple hundred years or whatever. So he didn't know that the Mayan calendar wasn't even created by Mayans. It was created by like the Atlanteans, and he didn't know anything about aliens or anything like that. And once he interviewed David Icke, and they were on the same page, but they didn't really talk about aliens. They just talked about like all the conspiracy theory stuff. But like for example, the Young Turks. I think Cenk Uygur. I love him. He's so smart, but he's not all that smart when it comes to like religion and stuff like that. He's just really cynical, and it's cool to show like every single side of you, every single side of everybody. Like Bill O'Reilly. I'd love to hear his ideas about religion and aliens and all the different subjects. And if people could have websites where they have their opinions on every single thing, like a whole smorgasbord, and they put their 2 cents on it, and it's so fascinating. You could guess what somebody might think about something for watching them do all these, and then you look at it, and it just paint such a broad picture that you would see what makes everybody tick, and the limits of the human mind, and different personality types and all that kind of stuff. If everybody weren't to just like show the brightest little aspect of themselves and then keep everything else hidden, that kind of stuff. So, like this, like is Alex Jones a patriot or a fear profiteer? Like, why does he have to be either or? Why can't he be both? People like you can disagree with somebody about 90% of the stuff and only agree with them on 10% of the stuff and still like the person. But unfortunately, the world's not like that. The world is, you can agree with somebody on 90%, but if you disagree with them on 10%, then you have to hate the fucking person. Right? And so that's why people don't share everything about themselves and all their views about everything, because people are always looking at they're pessimists, looking at the glass as being half empty. It's even worse than that. If the glass is 90% full, to them it's completely empty. You know, they just throw the baby out with the bathwater. You know, whereas people should be looking at a glass that's 10% full and looking at it as though it was completely full. You know, and that way we could all. I could watch somebody, and that's why I should break up my channel into lots of different channels, because then you could look at somebody and you go, oh wow, I like what they talk about that. I'm gonna, they have 10 different channels. Oh, I like what they talk about. I like their political views, but I don't like their philosophical views. So I'll just subscribe to Jimmy Johnson's political channel. And then I'll just watch him. I'll be like, what do you think of Jimmy Johnson? Oh, I love him. I mean, I love his political channel. All right. What do you think about his religious channel? Nah, I don't agree with it. But you can still like the guy, And so that's why people should be given more points for expressing themselves, whether you agree with them or not. At least say, well, thanks for giving your opinion. Otherwise, we're just going to have people who are fucking we're going to have a society where nobody trusts each other, and so we have to spend all of our money on security and insurance and then we're going to be suing each other all the time, and then wars. And I mean, man, imagine if everybody was trustworthy and everybody just looked at the bright side of things. We could spend all of our money on producing things that helped everybody, and everybody would only have to work like 3 hours a week or something, and we'd all have enough resources to do whatever we wanted, and we'd live in a good world. So the first thing you should do is just look at the positive side of other people. And, even the secret Illuminati people, I mean, secrecy, people are all pissed off about the business elite being secret. Well, everybody's pissed off about themselves not being allowed to be secret enough themselves. So they're fucking hypocrites, man. With all this whole NSA stuff. What are you spying on me? All the 99% of the fucking YouTube people who like comment on my videos, they don't even bother to put a picture of himself up. And nobody puts a video of himself up. Everybody's secret, hidden, and they're like, oh, those goddamn secret Illuminati. Dude, the rich business elite have to be secret because they're all hated. I mean, nobody wants to be like made fun of and yelled at and pissed on all the time. That's no fun. Dude, how much shit I get on YouTube? And I would say positive things. I'm like a positive guy. All day long, I'm working on fixing my website, my timeline website, and other stuff that's only good for society. And I'm a bad guy. You know what I mean? So imagine how much crap one of these like billionaire, people would get if they were to not be a secret and disclose how much money they made and all the houses they had and all the business dealings and stuff. They're not encouraged to. But if people were to be a little bit more light on them and trusting and positive, then they wouldn't be so freaked out about letting their their business secrets go. So. I mean, there's good and there's bad people in every single like economic sector and country and race and sex and all that kind of stuff. My gauge on whether or not I like somebody is really simple. It's how like nice they are to me. Somebody's like, hey dude, what's up? Da da da, hey Kyle, da da da, and then I'm cool to them. I don't care who they are. But if they're like, hey, you fucking idiot, or looking at me like I'm retarded, or like trying to say something negative about me that isn't true, or trying to make me out to be stupid, then I'm like, all right, well, there's something. You're looking at me in a negative way, so you're projecting. You look at the world as bad. You're probably bad yourself, It's kind of like somebody who thinks that you're lying all the time, they lie. If somebody thinks that you're trying to steal from all the time, they think they live in a world where everybody steals, they steal. So, but if somebody like trusts me, then I have like the utmost respect for them, and I'm going to trust them, and that's how the world works. So it all starts by trusting and all that stuff, So, Alex Jones, he does his thing. He's successful in what he does, and so just let him do what he does. He makes money off of it. Now, so like, why would I like somebody like Alex Jones more than somebody like Bill O'Reilly? Well, Alex Jones is just smarter. Like Bill O'Reilly. Like Alex Jones is good, you can tell. Bill O'Reilly just makes shit up. Like the other week, Bill O'Reilly was taking shots at Alex Jones and like said, who's going to stop there's all of this hatred on the internet, and turned Alex Jones' face red, and then had him ranting about something. And what Alex Jones was ranting on in Bill O'Reilly's video was totally different from what Bill O'Reilly said, the issue that Bill O'Reilly had with Alex Jones. Like they take bits and pieces and just make this lie all the time. Well, Fox News does that all the time. Like there was some protest and some guy got punched. And then, and they only showed the snippet of it, and they said, oh, this guy got punched because he said this or whatever. But then I think the Young Turks or Alex Jones or somebody did the whole video, and he got punched for a totally different reason, like, because that's why I don't like, Bill O'Reilly. He's just a crook, and he's a dick. Like the tone of his voice is he's just nasty, and just you can tell just their energy from him. But Alex Jones is a good guy, the stuff he says makes sense. He makes fun of stupid laws, like really, like the law where they outlawed pipes in Florida, and he says, I don't like that law. I'm going to break the law now. And he's entertaining with it. And, so I think he's great, but you're kind of dancing a fine line when you're doing that whole angry, there's idiots, everybody's an idiot thing. You have to be smart. You can't be a stupid person and do that, or you're just going to make people not trust anybody. But Alex Jones does well at that, because people are stupid, man. Like you can't go out and I was having a conversation with like the neighbor the other day. He was just in his 20s, he's just a gardener, doesn't make that much money. And I was like, yeah, they're going to legalize weed next year. And he was like, I don't like weed. And he was kind of like, I think he was saying that he thought weed should be illegal, And I was like, we have 500,000 people in prison for like years and years for weed. Like what a waste of money, and all the other reasons. And like people don't think that far ahead. And so it's but the stupid people are the ones who look at stuff, who are just like look at you and they think that you're bad, and that people from that with that attitude come from all walks of life, and that's my gauge on who's good and who's bad. Not if you're in the Illuminati. I mean, Illuminati, that's just, and Masons and like the Rothschilds, like these are just like the Rothschilds are like these. Rothschilds are just bankers who got really rich on banking. They're not like. And if you get really powerful and rich, yeah, you have the money to do this Dr. Zhivago type of stuff, like do all this, make all this money or whatever. But at the end, they're just people with a lot of money who got really good at something. And, their day always comes where their monopoly is broken by the government, and then another family takes over. And it's not this big fucking conspiracy where it's the same group of people who've been fucking over humanity since the beginning of time. It is true, and I hope I don't run out of juice here, but it is true that like the royal families have been kind of the same family. For example, the little boy baby who's going to be born to Kate Middleton, ooh, she's so fine. Pretty soon, he's going to be the direct descendant of King Alfred the Great. Even before King Alfred the Great, since like the fall of the Roman Empire, all those different English dynasties. A new dynasty, that didn't mean like a different family. All it meant was their cousins. It was all the same family. So they just keep it in line. That's how the law worked with kingdoms. You just pass it off to whoever is related to you the most, who's in the position to be a king, and that's just how legality worked. That's just how laws worked. It was a nepotism, hereditary thing to try to keep it as fair as possible, not just let whoever, random person invade and fight and win or whatever. So that's how the whole idea, I think, from, it's been the same family since forever. No, the Rothschilds back in Frankfurt in like 1810 were just poor Jews. And then they invented banks and, all the world trading, and they were good at it because Jews always did the banking, and they got rich. It's that simple. Anyways, this thing's about to burn out. The glass is full. You know, like, I'm a nice guy. Assume somebody's a nice guy until they like really piss you off because they like personally attack you or something. But try to like have as much faith in other people as you possibly can. Yeah, dude. The problems of the world aren't the Illuminati. The problems of the world is just regular people not educating themselves enough to vote for the right politicians. That's all it is. And and people having too much like respect for money and like, glam and flash. Have respect for somebody who does something that they think is good for the world. It's the world is controlled by the little people, not the big people. All right, peace out.